let me be very clear here. You lot, you people who approve of this, see, this is why I specifically waited a day, essentially 24 hours before I made this video, because I was gonna upload a video last night. We got humiliated last night, but I didn't want to make a review that was purely based off emotion, because I went on last year when we lost to Tottenham, and I went on that rant. I wasn't logical. I was speaking up based off emotion. But this right here has to stop. This thing against David Luiz. Did people forget that in the middle of a match he was knocked unconscious? I think the first few minutes of the game. Well, I know I seen it with my own eyes, but I forgot what minute it was. I believe it was like the second minute or something like that. It was very early in the game. He takes a shot, the ball smacks him in the face, and he gets knocked unconscious. Most players would leave the game, and arguably he probably should have left the game, because ever since then he wasn't the same. He looked all over the place yesterday, and maybe that has something to do with it. But you guys, you people, you so-called Chelsea fans that say that this guy right here, he has to leave or he's to blame for yesterday, you have lost the plot. You have lost your mind. You have lost your goddamn mind, because this player is probably our best defender, hands down. Hands down. All right, he's probably our only leader as well too. Aspilicueta, yes, he's a leader by example, but the player that that's an extrovert, that rallies around, to get players to rally around him, and just his personality in the locker room, it holds weight. David Luiz, and he was the only player that I saw yesterday that came out. This was him after the game. This was him after the game. This is the same face that had lost to Germany. They lost to Germany 7-1, and they got eliminated from the World Cup. This is the exact same face. He regrets this. This shows that this matters to him. This is a pride thing. This matters to him. I expect nothing more than a humble victory against Huddersfield Saturday. But I don't know. The mentality of the players, I don't know. Sarri held them into, they talked after the game. Apparently, he locked the locker room up. He made sure nobody left. And they had a deep conversation for 40 minutes discussing what we just witnessed. Yesterday was so unforgivable. So unforgivable. I watched a group of players who looked stranded, who didn't know what they were doing, and for a team that was missing key players in that lineup, considerably, specifically with Colin Wilson, their number one striker. They didn't have their number one striker, and they made us look so pathetic. They hit us on the counterattack, and our fullbacks, they weren't getting back, they weren't tracking back, and I've been calling for Paul Murray to start. I'm not going to say, okay, that was a mistake or whatever, because nobody played well yesterday. The first half, yeah, we were in control of the game possession wise, but they were still hitting us on the counterattack. We were looking vulnerable in the first half. We were just fortunate enough that Kepa, our keeper, today could have been really unforgettable night. 4-0 is embarrassing. But we could have lost way more than that to a Bournemouth team. It's not even in the top. Well, I think now they just moved up to 8th or 9th place now. But they were like in 12th place before this game started. They weren't even in the top end of the half of the team, and they've been really poor these past 5 games. And that seems to be a trend for this team. Teams that have been struggling, go back to the Crystal Palace last season. They went 8 games where they didn't win a game. They didn't even score a goal. 8 games. They lost 8 games in a row. Or was it? I know it was 8 games that they didn't score, but I'm not sure it was 8 games in a row that they lost. But they came to our house and they beat us 2-0. A team that hadn't even scored before the game even started. 8 games or 7 games prior to that, they hadn't even put the ball in the back of their net, let alone get a victory. So this team yesterday just showed me that we have a lot more problems than I initially thought. I thought, if we get another midfielder, because we still can't create chances. Higuain yesterday, that seems to be the trend for our team, for our striker. He doesn't get enough service. He can't. He had 0 shots the entire game. We had like what 70% possession, 75% possession. Our striker, our most deadly guy, had 0 strikes, no shots on target, no shots off target. He only had what maybe 5-10 touches on the ball the entire game, and then what only thing I don't agree with Sarri with is the technical. I don't know if this is a trend. I don't want to sound like I'm a nationalist or a racist or whatever. No, we're not a nationalist, but a racist. But it seems like Italian managers, their game management is so poor. I don't know if it's because most of them come from the Serie A, where you can have a plan A and it works every time, and where maybe a few occasions you have to change it up because it's a team that's up to par. But most teams that you play against, you should be beating. Your B team should be beating. Like Juventus. Nobody else thinks that Juventus is not going to win the league. All right, that sort of thing, that mentality. We don't have a plan B. That proved yesterday. That was right. We don't have a plan B, and his man management, his game management, his decisions, who he brought on. Like, okay, he brings on Willian. I'm like, yeah, okay, maybe maybe it's me. Maybe I'm seeing something that I don't see. He's out there on the pitch. I don't see. I'm waiting for Hudson-Odoi to come on, because when the starting lineup came out, as you can see, the starting lineup. I saw this lineup and I'm like, okay, maybe he's bringing Hudson-Odoi on in the second half. Pedro's starting the game. All right, fair enough. We need goals. Sarri trusts him more on the ball to get the goals. Fine. But then I see Willian come on and I'm like, okay, whatever. Maybe he's gonna take off. Maybe we're gonna go end the game with a false 9. He's gonna bring on Hudson-Odoi and we're gonna slide Hazard in that false 9 role. I mean, I personally don't like that role. But I don't like Hazard playing in that striker position, but whatever. It's our plan B. It's a plan B. It's something different. We're down 2-0, and then he decides to bring on Giroud. He takes off Higuain and brings on Giroud. What is that going to do? What is that going to do? That was not the problem. The problem was when we were going forward, they completely just isolated Higuain. They made him irrelevant to the game. Once again, I don't know what's the solution to that. We don't have a number 8. We don't have a Frank Lampard or a Fabregas or Iniesta that can unlock defenses and play balls, or David Silva, a De Bruyne. We don't have those type of players that can just unlock the defense. Higuain had 0 shots at goal. 0 shots at goal. And there were some balls over the top, but they kept playing him offside. I'm pretty sure I've seen his movement. I'm pretty sure he wasn't offside all the time. When he asked for the ball, they weren't playing it quick enough, and he kept getting caught offsides. And it's just, I'm really starting to think. Ever since Torres, I had this in the back of my mind. But every striker we get, we don't play to their style. A team should be built based off their best player, which is Hazard. But yesterday he looked lazy. I'm telling you guys, it's a trend. I don't know what it is, but around this time, after January, February, this is when Hazard starts to slack off, man, and it really pisses me off, because this is the reason why he's not up there with Messi and Ronaldo and Neymar. Even though I kind of fall back on the Neymar thing, because the best ability is availability, and Neymar is always injured, when they need him most. At least that's been the recent trend. But my point is, we need to build a team around our best player, our striker. We should build a team around Higuain. What he does best, and his best thing that he does, the thing that he does best is his movement. And he not only is his movement, but his ability to link up play. He can move. He can play a false 9. He can play the false 9 if he wanted to, even though he's not a false 9, because his ability to drop in deep, receive the ball, and play passes to link up the play. He's great at that. I've seen his touch. His touch is great. It's better than Lukaku's, And I'm just saying, like, if you're like with Luis Suarez, the season that he scored 30+ goals for Liverpool in the league, He averaged at least 7 shots a game. 7 shots a game. A striker, if you give a striker 7 shots, he's gonna at least put 2 of them in the back of the net. A world-class striker is gonna put 2 out of 7 in the back of the net, and that's more than I can ask for, really. But you gotta create chances. You can't win games scoring. You can't win trophies. Can't win anything with Kante as your best scorer, your best threat going forward. And that's no knock against Kante. He did everything he can. I understand why he gets that, and that's another reason why we started getting blitzed on the counterattack, because once we got scored on, Kante and nobody else was making those late man runs in the box. So Kante was forcing himself inside the box, but he's 5'7", 5'8". He's not winning an aerial ball. He's not winning a header. And even if he does, he's not going to put it in the back of the net. You know what I mean? Eunice said it best. You can put Lionel Messi, Ronaldo on this team, and they still would struggle. They will look ordinary. They will look plain. This team, we need a complete overhaul. Like everybody needs to be put in check. Nobody's safe. If we need new players, Willian has to go. Pedro has to go. Those are 2 players that has to go because they're past their prime, and I have nothing against these 2 players, but it is what it is. You know, it's the same thing with Ivanovic. We appreciate everything he's done. He's a club legend, all right, or at least an honorable mention. He's won everything there is to win at Chelsea, so I feel like he's on the right to be called a legend. He was with us for at least almost 10 seasons. He was with us longer than Drogba as far as accumulated years and games and stuff. But his legs started to go, and we can't expect 30-year-old plus men to constantly track back, to constantly help out our fullbacks, because that's the only way that this system is going to work. Because our fullbacks are so, like, going forward, they're a liability, right? Emerson is his best quality is going forward. Defensively, he's a liability. So with our fullbacks, you're either gonna get one of the 2. But I still prefer Paul Murray over Alonso, because going forward and defending, he's better than Alonso as far as I'm concerned. But back to the Kante thing. I know I'm rambling a little bit because I'm trying to collect my thoughts. I don't have my notes. I'm just doing this based off emotion. Not emotion, but based off, my intellect and what I seen yesterday. And I'm trying to get my thoughts out without coming off as emotional. But you see Kante, he's putting himself out of position to try to put these balls into the box. Then nobody's winning because we're down, we're losing. He's trying to do something, I understand where he's coming from. And, Sarri, last time we lost in a game like this, we didn't lose 4-0, but we lost in kind of like in this manner. We got destroyed. And he was saying Kante was playing out of position, but you can't knock him for that because nobody else is doing it. The wingers aren't doing it. They're not making these late man runs. He's the only player doing this, and that's why we miss players like Loftus-Cheek who can make these runs and put himself in the box and finish. We don't have a midfielder that can do that, make those late man runs and put the ball in the back of the net. I've seen Pogba do it for United. I've seen Yaya Toure do it for City. And that's why if Loftus-Cheek can become somewhat of a Yaya Toure, how he was for City, that midfielder that can, you give him the ball at the halfway line, he can just sprint towards the defenders and run at them and cause havoc and can finish as well. But we need a complete overhaul. This team, it needs complete washing from the defense, the midfield, and the attacking side. And honestly, I don't know if I'm convinced if I want Hazard anymore. That's the emotion that I'm talking about. But I'm thinking though. I'm looking at Hazard. He's our best player, right? Anything that you guys saw yesterday that showed you leadership, that showed you that he wanted it. I don't, and up until the first goal, all the way until the last goal, I don't recall ever hearing Hazard or seeing him on the ball as much. he was out of the game. He had no effect. That is us. If Hazard is having a bad game, or he's out of it, he's not into the match, he's not playing hard enough. That's it. That's it. And I was very optimistic because we got 3 goals against Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield Wednesday. Even though Sheffield Wednesday, we didn't have our strongest team out there. We got a very convincing win off of a performance that wasn't even that great. You know, we got a nice convincing win, 3-0. Yeah, we had a penalty, but we put it away. I don't know, man. But that's my thoughts of the game. I don't know what to say. I specifically waited a day after we just lost, got humiliated, because I didn't want to come off as emotional or a fan that was just completely ignorant to the facts, because I still believe in Sarri. I still believe in Sarri ball, even though it's a plan that is one-dimensional, and once you stop a certain thing, once you take the regista out of the game, that's it. My problem with Sarri is his game management, his team selection, and he doesn't have a plan B. That's my only problem with Sarri. I still believe in Sarri, but he doesn't have the players for the system. I know it's the same excuse that we use for Conte, but I still like the way that we play. We possess the ball more. Just going forward, we don't have that player that can unlock the defense like Fabregas did. I feel like we had Fabregas with 5 to 10 years ago. On this team here, we'll be unstoppable because we have that player that can unlock defenses, that can give Higuain the chances that he deserves, the balls that he wants over the top, because he likes the ball. He doesn't like the ball played to his feet. Even though he has a good touch, he likes the ball to be played over the top. He's like Fernando Torres. That's how he likes to score his goals. That's how he likes to, contribute. We don't have that. We don't have that. And it was so compact. There's times where Hazard was on the ball and Higuain would be like 2 or 3 meters away from him, or maybe less, away from him. Condensed. There was just no. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. But it's definitely not Higuain's fault. And I was just looking at Sarri yesterday. Yeah, he yelled at the players, allegedly, for 40 minutes. But I don't want to see that. We're losing 4-0 to Bournemouth, and you're doing this. One second. You're doing this. I'm not sponsored by Papa John's, but better pizza, Papa John's. But you're doing this. You're doing this. Right now. Where are you right now? Oh yeah, definitely. We just got scored on four times. Yeah, Willian got the ball in, and he lost it. Hazard not tracking back, being lazy. No, I don't want to see that. I want to see you on the fucking touchline, yelling, screaming, doing something, getting a reaction out of the players. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. This is way worse than losing the 3-0 at home, bro. Well, I don't know. This is almost a year of that happening. In January, when we played Bournemouth, these past 2 seasons, it's 7-0 on aggregate. Let that sink in. 7 goals to 0. They beat us 3-0 last season, and they beat us 4-0 this season. But this performance here, it has to be worse, in my opinion, because the first half, yeah, they had their chances, but we still dominated the game. We have potential. We're like, okay, we make some tweaks, a few tweaks. We can really, because the past few games, we didn't score past them until the second half anyway. So, okay, maybe that's just the trend. That's just how it goes. But no, it's more than that. It's way worse than that. It's just unbelievable, guys. I don't know what to say. And I personally, I want to give myself kudos, because I could have came on here and ranted for views or whatever. But no, I'm trying to give you guys a logical explanation, and I can't. I don't have any excuses. I don't know what happened. We had the possession. going forward, they caught us on the counterattack, and what happened was fullbacks weren't tracking back. The wingers weren't tracking back. So when the fullbacks were caught out, that was it, and it just left David Luiz and Rudiger and a midfielder to track back, and they just punished us. They executed. They took their chances, and they kind of looked like the Chelsea of 2015, 2016, or the Chelsea of old, where we just we sat back and countered. That was our formula. That's who we were. We sat back and we counterattacked just like that. When we had Costa and all that, they pretty much all they wanted to do was absorb the pressure and counterattack. That was their game plan. And at halftime, they probably looked at themselves and like, you know what? We didn't have the best of halves, but we can actually do this. We had our chances. They're not much of a threat going forward. We can be more aggressive. We can send more players forward. That's the problem, because our fullbacks are such a liability that the wingers can't afford not to track back. They can't, because if they don't, the fullbacks are going to get caught out. We're going to get hit on the counterattack. And see, this is why Kante playing slightly forward and playing our position is such a big deal, because he's supposed to be the one that helps support the defense to prevent this. But he can't, because nobody else is making these runs, so he's forcing himself to make the run because we need goals. We're down 2-0. So yeah, that's what he's doing. I don't know, guys. Leave me your comments and down below. This actually is a longer video than I thought. Like I said, I didn't want to come off as emotional. I wanted to be logical, because I still believe in Sarri ball. He needs the players. If Man City can pay over 115 million for fullbacks just for one position, and then go off the next season and pay 50 million for a goalkeeper after buying a goalkeeper the previous season, because he didn't have the players that he needed, the players he wanted. This is the modern game. Fullbacks are essential to a team. Why don't we go after Marcelo? He's having problems at Real Madrid. He's an older player, but he still can produce. Have him and Paul Mary have him mentor Paul Mary. He's a solid left back. He is the prototypical left back on the modern era, Marcelo. He can score goals. He's great at putting balls in, and he's solid defensively. He's the prototype of a fullback. Him and Philip Lahm were prototypes of the modern game. That's it, guys. Leave me your thoughts. It's off to Huddersfield. Hopefully we can get 3 points. I don't even care how much we win by. We just need 3 points. And we need another signing, too. There's been reports that we had talks with Spurs and Batshuayi to give away Batshuayi to Spurs. Why are we helping Spurs out? We're fighting for the top 4 position, and they don't have a striker right now because Harry Kane is out and they're missing key players. Hey, yeah, Spurs, you guys are just after coming back on a goal down and winning at the death, and putting more points ahead of us because we lost yesterday. We got humiliated, and not only did Arsenal take over our spot for the top 4 because we're 5th place now with United like 2 points behind us, but on top of that, here's a striker. Here's a striker help your team out. You guys are missing another striker. For Llorente isn't doing his job. Here's Batshuayi. Pochettino, you're a very, very bright young mind in the game. Let's give you this young prodigy, this raw prospect to build and mold into the player that you want him to be, so you can have an even stronger team to beat us against, and then have another player that goes to another club and just thrives. Like Mo Salah and De Bruyne and just more players. And at one point it was Dan Sturridge as well, because when him and Suarez they were going after the league title. I don't know, guys. I'm out, man. Leave your comments down, like, share, subscribe if you're new, and I'm out.